Border jumpers face criminal prosecution, seizure of children after DHS mandate, by Tyler Durden, 40hedge.com. A new directive by the Trump administration has paved the way for criminal prosecution of every migrant caught jumping the U.S.-Mexico border, as opposed to civil deportation proceedings employed in most cases up until now. Department of Homeland Security DHS Secretary Christian Nielsen issued a directive last week announcing that DOJ will refer those entering the country illegally for criminal cases. Illegal entry into the United States is a misdemeanor crime. However, attempts to sneak back in after a prior deportation are a felony, which DHS says needs to be enforced. DHS will enforce the immigration laws as set forth by Congress, said a Homeland Security official via the Washington Times. The move will be a major test for federal prosecutors and courts, who could see their caseload surge as they deal with what could be thousands of new cases each month. But it's likely to thrill Border Patrol agents who had begged for the government to impose serious consequences on illegal immigrants for whom crossing the border, getting deported, and trying again is just a part of their way of life, the Washington Times. On Monday morning, Attorney General Jeff Sessions reinforced the DOJ's new push at curbing illegal immigration, telling a Scottsdale, Arizona law enforcement conference that those entering the country illegally with children will be subject to separation. If you are smuggling a child, then we will prosecute you, and that child will be separated from you as required by law, said Sessions. If you don't like that, then don't smuggle children over our border. Later, speaking from San Diego, Sessions reiterated the push, only changing his language from "we will be separated from you" to "may be separated from you as required by law. NBC News, NBC Bay Area, okay, if you're smuggling, let's take a listen.
If you cross the border unlawfully, then we will prosecute you. It's that simple. If you smuggle illegal aliens across our border, then we will prosecute you. If you are smuggling a child, then we will prosecute you. And that child may be separated from you as required by law.
Protesting Sessions was a man equipped with a bullhorn wearing a white shirt which read "Nazi fascists, no pasaran." Oh. Who asks, "Why are you here? Are you going to be separating families? Don't. Why are you doing this? Don't have a heart, whatever." Okay, let's take a, I guess not.
If you cross the border unlawfully,
we already heard
then we will.
Why are you here? Are you going to be separating families? Is that why you're here? Don't! Why are you doing this? Do you have a heart? Do you have a soul? Why? Why do you work for this administration? Do you want to enforce these policies? Why do you want to do this? You're an evil, evil, evil man. Get out of my state. Get out of my city. You should not be here. This.
Oh well. Unbelievable. Sessions announced last Wednesday that the DOJ will be sending 35 prosecutors and 18 judges to the southern border in order to more efficiently prosecute illegal immigrants. Texas will receive 15 attorneys, followed by 8 to California, 6 to Arizona, 6 to New Mexico. The judges will be deployed similarly. The American people made very clear their desire to secure our borders and prioritize the public safety and national security of the homeland, said Sessions. Promoting and enforcing the rule of law is essential to our republic. By deploying these additional resources to the southwest border, the Justice Department and the Trump administration take yet another step in protecting our nations, its borders, and its citizens. It must be clear that there is no right to demand entry without justification. In early 2018, the Washington Times reported on one migrant who was deported a record 44 times between 2000 and 2015, while migrants with over a dozen deportations are not unusual. The Times points out that the migrants who murdered Kate Steinle in 2015 had been deported 5 times. About 2/3 of all asylum claims lodged with U.S. Customs and Border Protection last year came between the ports of entry, meaning people jumped the border, were caught, and then asked for asylum. Homeland Security said those migrants, if they jump the border, will be prosecuted for illegal entry while their asylum cases proceed just like other border jumpers. A picture that has been around a while depicts what are we talking about? Those apprehended will be sent directly to federal court under the custody of the U.S. Marshals Service, and their children will be transferred to the custody of Health and Human Services Office of Refugee Settlement. The U.S. Marshals will then place the individuals into approved detention centers during the course of the criminal process, and if convicted, to complete their sentence, the official said. During prosecutorial process, immigration process will be advanced by ICE, enforcement removal operations, ERO, upon completion of criminal proceedings, and after a finding of removability, individuals will be returned to their country of origin. The DHS pushed to secure the border and criminally prosecute illegal entries into the country comes 2 weeks after the remains of a giant migrant caravan made its way from Central America to San Isidro border crossing. The last of the 181 asylum seekers from the caravan entered the U.S. on Friday and are currently being processed. President Trump railed against the caravan, calling it a threat to national security, while Sessions referred to it as a deliberate attempt to undermine our laws and overwhelm our system. It turns out all Trump needed to justify beefing up border enforcement was a giant caravan of illegal immigrants directly challenging the U.S. border. But they got in. I mean, what? They're not going to show up for their the trial or whatever. I don't know what's going on. And then you got this idiot on the bullhorn. I don't know. I think this should have been stopped automatically, and it's a little too late, in my opinion. And Sessions acts like he's for enforcing it. Let's see what goes on. If they're already in, what are you going to do? They're not going to show up to their trial there, or whatever you want to call it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.